funny. How I attempt to manage things. So, okay, so I told you guys a lot. We have a lot going on in our team and a lot to keep track of and a lot to recognize and a lot to, make things for meetings and how am I going to do this all on, I don't know what I'm doing on the computer half the time and this and that, and I knew it was after we came back from conference last year and things were really starting to happen in our team and things were really starting to get to a point where I had to figure out how are we going to keep this all organized so I can keep this duplicatable for our other directors and stuff as they start promoting and people are getting promotions to team leaders and stuff like that. And how am I going to break this down and make this as simple as possible? And I decided that I needed to make it as shareable as possible. And sometimes I feel like that word is not always the way to do that. You can delete things easy from Word, or you can lose a file if you don't have it saved on a zip drive or this or that. And I thought, you know what? I work a very, very part-time job in our school district in Janesville, and I was bucking the system at the school district. It was driving me nuts because they kept sending me things in Google Docs and Google Drive and all, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. And I fortunately a couple summers ago worked summer school with a teacher that was teaching a technology academy class, and I happened to be her teacher's aide in the classroom, and so she was like, I'm going to show you how this works so you can make this work for your team. So creating systems using Google Docs. Is anybody here using Google right now? How many people use Google?
Very well.
Okay. What's that? Not as much as you should. Does everybody here have a Google email address? Okay. So every single one of you has a Google Drive that has a Google email address. Did you guys know that? Okay. So you already probably, if you have that and like your cellular provider has given you, like you had to sign up with your Gmail. I know a lot of cellular companies do that now. You have a drive and like that's probably like where your pictures are being stored and you might not even know it. Like my mom had no clue that that's where her pictures were going. Like, like I didn't realize that it was either. They're all out there. Yeah. So I wanted to show you Google everything. So these are the different systems through Google that I'm using for my team right now. So the first one is the Drive, obviously. The next one is Google Keep. The next one is Google Classroom. The next one is Tasks. And then you've got Docs, Sheets, Slides. You've got Google Forms, and you've got the Google Calendar. Okay? Who uses a Google Calendar? Okay. Who uses a Google Calendar with their team? Share it with your team. Share your calendar. Make a team Google email. So lots of different things like that.
What's the second to the last one?
Second to the last one is Google Forms. Okay.
What was the second thing? What is
The
that?
second one is Google Keep. So
But-
I'm going to talk about each single one of these and what I use them for with our team. Okay. So I don't think you guys know this, but if you go to a Google Drive and when it pops up over on the side, it'll show you like the little different icons for all the different things you can do. If you click see more, there's over 100 different apps that Google has. Google runs this world right now. It really does. And were you saying that earlier? Like with the way Google's going, I mean, you have to be open to, who knows, Google, I mean, they tried their own kind of Facebook thing. What was it called? Google
Hangouts.
Hangouts, and I think they still have Hangouts, but they almost had their own like actual Facebook.
I remember
can't think of what it was called anymore, but that one fizzled out. But yeah, they like run the world, and so so I just was like, you know what, I have to and grasp it and embrace it. And the fortunate thing is I have children that use Google at school all day, so if I got stuck, I could ask them. That was kind of what I figured I would do. Okay, so these are the different ones I'm using. So Google Docs is where I started, okay? So host coaching systems and customer care was the first system that I created in Google. So I knew that if we were going to get people booking shows and having great results from their shows, I knew that they had to have a very simplified system for host coaching that was duplicatable. So then the most important step next would be learning how to do customer care from the show then. So this is just an example of what I have. So here's my Google Doc that comes up. And I have a very simple cut and place system. It says I do my host coaching in a 4-message system that is easily cut and pasted into a text, Facebook message, or email, which the preferred method of messaging is prearranged with my host. So I always ask my host, which is the best way to do host coaching with you. And if my host prefers to be called, then I just read them the message. Everything in these messages are also on a printed document that I include in their packet. So right from the beginning, when my team members start and I teach them how the steps of host coaching, I can just simply give them my host coaching system through this Google Doc, and they have every single one. They just have to click when they receive the packet. When they receive the 2 weeks before the show, 1 week before the show, I would click on this. For instance, if I was host coaching a person today, okay, it's 1 week before our party, here's our shopping list. I literally just have to cut and paste into a message and boom, my host is coached. I can host coach, I have to host coach 3 people today. It'll literally take me 2 minutes to do it. 2 minutes, done. Facebook message into a text, however they told me they wanted to do it. I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time I need to host coach somebody. I'm just cutting and pasting and making my message very generic, if you will, but yet encouraging and enthusiastic. You know, you're not like, I don't have to put, hi Erin, this is, you know, I don't have to do that. Like I just cut and paste. So that's all here for them in this doc. Let me see here. Let me click out of this one. And then I show them, like, so then here, then I would show them customer care. This comes up in a Google sheet. This is how they can track their customer care. So I'll give you guys all of this, and you are welcome to use it. And if you don't know how to use it in a Google Doc, I can kind of help you with that. But it really is one of those things too, because who doesn't use Google as their search bar? Who doesn't use Google as their search bar? Is there anybody in this room that doesn't use Google? You don't? What's your search bar?
I use DuckDuckGo. It's a really random one, but it's cute. I thought so.
You can ask Google anything though from Google, and Google will tell you what to do with one of their programs. They will give you really simple, like if you don't know how to add a link onto a Google Doc, you would say, how do I add a link onto a Google Doc? And boom, it'll come up and tell you how to do it. So it's very simple. So I have everything here. So this is what I started with. A simple cut and paste method with links that they can click on. And it probably maybe looks overwhelming and confusing to you, but it's really not when it's, are you like, is it okay?
No, not at all. It
Okay.
looks great.
So
I'm just glad you're sharing it.
yeah. Oh yeah, I will share it. Yep, I will share it. I have no problem with that. Okay, so that's what I started with. All right. Then I was taking it to the next step. So I started with the host coaching, and I'm like, okay, we got a good grasp on this. We've got people learning to host coach. And by the way, this host coaching system, I had 24 shows and 18 of them, like in the first 6 months of the year, 18 of them were $1,000 parties with this host coaching. So that's just how much of a difference it was. So make sure you're host coaching. Because how many of you, some of us can honestly say that they're not really doing very good host coaching. You know, even 18 years in the business, we're not always being, sometimes we have to do a little check-in with ourselves on how we're doing on that stuff. And that was my big thing. If I want my team to do this, I need to make sure that I'm doing this well also. I can't expect them to do this if I'm not already doing it well. Okay, so Team Links was born then. So I said to myself, I have to be able to get all sorts of information to my team very quick and easy. So if they can't call me quick, or if I'm not available that day or that couple hours, or somebody doesn't answer them on our Facebook page, I wanted a document created that all they had to do is look at it, and I probably have the answer for you on this document. And so we call it Team Links, and it's in our announcement section on our Facebook page. And so for instance, if you click on it, It's thinking. Maybe. So there's going to be info on how to get started right off the gate, some steps. It's going to have a welcome video of me and my co-director Sarah, and it's going to have I can't think of everything right now off the top of my head. Is everybody off their phones?
If you close some of the other
Let
ones.
me create, yeah. Hold on. Let's do it one more time here. Or we'll go this way. We'll just go back to my drive. You're offline, it says.
Oh, we have an exclamation point.
Yep. No internet access. So I'll disconnect.
Are these guys
Try to
still on?
connect
Yeah,
again.
they're still on.
It's saying we're not connected.
Let's try now. Check if we can see real quick.
Okay.
Okay, she'll try to connect. You keep talking.
Okay.
Kelly.
So in this document then, I have somebody called you and they're like, I don't know how to do a return. I have a document on there on how to do a return, if they're gonna do it on chat, if they're gonna call into the 800 number, if they're gonna do it on the return screen. I have it there for them. And it's a behavior that I have, so when somebody calls and asks me that, I'm not always necessarily going to give them the answer either. I want them to be able to learn to navigate around the website. I want them to learn how to do this business. So I'll say, that's in Team Links, did you check there? So I can just refer them, check Team Links. Like one of the girls was new, I was looking for a picture of somebody who could take a picture of the dream bracelet for me. They're like, what's the dream bracelet? Because they haven't been to a meeting yet. Check Team Links. It's like, that's how I can answer everybody. Okay, thanks. So I'm gonna just kneel down a sec here. Okay. There we go.
Cindy,
Okay.
can we help you, Rebecca?
So we've got our welcome. We take you down through here, how to get off to a strong start. Like even right here, talking about their paychecks and when they're gonna get paid. I'll say, see below for more information on how paychecks and how to set up your order payment account. How to maximize your first 30 days. I tell them, see our guinea pig post below. So I've got them some steps on here. We'll scroll down and keep going. We've got our welcome video. We've got our team roster, so we have everybody's Gmail accounts and their phone numbers on there. Somebody can get a hold of them at any time. How to set up a coaching call with me. That's a system. I use an app called Appointlet. They can set up a coaching call with me. There's a Google Doc that's attached to that, or a Google form. It sends me a form when they're going to do a coaching call, so I know what they want to talk to me about. So that's just, they can set it up right from here. And we do a lot of Zoom calls, so I put the information on how to load Zoom, how they use Zoom, getting started information, guinea pig posts. That's okay. Talk a little bit about their new, what's it called? Their little clipboard that's on their screen now for when they're new. They've got their little purple clipboard. See the purple clipboard there? I can't think of what it's called. Consultant connection, paychecks, host coaching. That's where my host coaching system is. a tickler file or how to keep it organized, being green and active by 15, and that's where we explain to them how we do our activity bonuses and why it's important to be green. So all this stuff is in here, dream bracelets. So I just have everything at my fingertips for them. And believe me, we're adding stuff all the time. I have a list of things that I still want to add to it. So it's going to be changing when something new comes out. I might have to add something. So it's a continued, a document that is continued, and it's a document that can't be edited, only by me. So nobody's going to lose information ever. That's one thing I like about it. Somebody gets a hold of a Word doc, and something could get deleted and then it's gone and you can't get it again. Google, you can go back into history and even find the original post that you started it with. So it's easy to do. Do you have a question?
No, my question was the edit. Can other people edit?
Yes, you can collaborate with Google Docs though. So you can make it that way. You can give people access to that, but so certain documents, of course, I do that with. But like my team links, nobody's touching my team links
Right.
page. You know what I mean? So you have a lot more control over it than necessarily than somebody just sending you a Word doc. Okay. So does that kind of make sense with how I use my team links for helping the team? Okay. So then next thing, how we're using Google Calendar and Google Tasks. So my first goal of the year, I'm a paper person. I'm actually kind of not as much of a paper person because I listened to a training by Stacy Itzel and Stephanie Richardson about their Google Calendar and how they were basically doing all of their task management and everything right in Google. And so now everything is done in there with the combination of the Google Tasks app. So you can see, I can put all of my show information into my calendar, if you can kind of see that. It's kind of small, but I have at the top make my 5 contacts a day. That pops up every day in my calendar, 5 days a week for me to make my 5 contacts. I have it set to repeat. Whatever you need to do, I can add whatever task I want. Then I use the Google Tasks app, which actually, if you're on your Google Calendar on your computer, the tasks comes right on the side of the screen. So it's all right there for you. So it's like 2 apps being used in one. Then this is where I use my host coaching checklist is in my task. So I made her packet. This was the menu. I have it written down. I sent her packet. I gave her URL link. I set up her Facebook event. I sent her a text invite. I offered her the business opportunity 5 times. She got her packet. She got all my texting, my coaching. So it's so duplicatable on how I can keep all of my tasks organized. And if you scroll down on that, there's a calendar date. And then what I do is, so like my coaching calls, I put them in the system, and then when I give them their packet, I put the date I'm going to be giving them their packet, or around the date I'm going to be giving them their packet, so I move that task to that date. Then when I'm done sending them the message about when you receive your packet, then I move that date to 2 weeks before the show. Then I move it to 1 week before the show, and then those tasks just pop up for me daily on what I need to do today. So it's like, Amy, like we've talked about before, it's like our old contact management system that we had in P3. So it works brilliantly. So you can do this in a tickler file where you're using a 1 through 31 pocket system, like full filing system, and then a January through December, and I could take my door prize slips and put it 2 weeks, 1 week before the show, 2 days before the show. But if you want to do it electronically, this is a way you could use Google Tasks and Google Calendar to do that. So all of that kind of stuff, I can get more in depth with anybody that has any questions on that, okay? I will also post the YouTube video of Stacy Itzel and Stephanie Richardson giving you the directions on how to do this. Has anybody seen it before? You guys have seen it. It's really super helpful, and basically I'm never gonna be able to do this. I watched the video and I was able to do it. And I was up and running on this system in about a week's time. One of the biggest tips they gave me is if you decide to switch to something like this, don't try to go back and do things. Start from today. Don't go, oh shoot, I had a party last Friday, I should put her in too. Yeah, you want to do that, but just start and don't make things harder on you. You know what I mean? Just start, that's the big thing. So Google Calendar and Google Tasks have been a huge game changer for me. Maybe we're gonna. Okay, Google Sheets. So I talked a lot earlier about how I do the activity bonus drawing every month. So you're thinking to yourself, how is she keeping track of all that? We use Google Sheets for activity bonus, and I did say that you can collaborate. We use it for sign-ups for different things. I've used it myself, like when we've done a challenge order, or when I've done like I was one of those people that did like the prep bowls with the seasoning for the holidays and stuff. So I had to kind of keep track of who ordered Southwest, who ordered, all that. I would just keep track of it. It's an Excel spreadsheet basically. So it's just a good way to use it. So this is an example of our activity bonus. So I just put by May 15th, after May 15th, May 750 in sales. Then I can share, and you can see at the top, it'll always tell you who did the last edit, because I made collaborators on this. So my director team was collaborators with me on this, and so they can go in and edit all these documents as well. But nobody else can. It's just us five. So that's how we do it. And then whoever is assigned to do the drawing that month, they just have to bring up the doc in their drive, and they can do their random name picker and pick the winner. So super simple, and we can collaborate at once. We don't have to be calling each other back and forth, and who's your 5 people, and blah, blah, blah. It's there, and I just change it at the beginning of each month. We're already starting to add to our June one, okay? So Google Sheets. Google Forms. Who's used Google Forms? Who are virtual party people that use a Google form in their virtual party as like a door prize slip? Does anybody use that? A lot of people use Google Forms for that kind of stuff, so they can do a virtual door prize slip. That's what they'll send out. That's where they can see if they can get bookings from it. You guys, she's looking at me like,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
yeah. So instead of, obviously you're not at a party, you can do it in a form that way. We do our getting to know you questionnaire for all of our new recruits on a Google form, and then it gets just emailed to me, so then I can just read it when it comes in. Door prize slips, we do team and customer surveys, or like I'm the person that still does some freezer meal workshops. I haven't done them much lately, but I still do them. So then that's how I can have my customers go in and sign up for which packet they want and stuff like that. A lot of people are very familiar with Google nowadays, so people aren't so frightened by it. They know that if they just click, and it seems like it's not a big deal. And if somebody really gives a fuss about it, then I just say, I'll enter it for you, but I can keep my system there. So this is an example of, this is what we do, getting to know you and why you, what is your why for the business. And so I have them fill out this little survey, little form, and I can find out a little bit about them before I talk to them and we start making their goals, their first goals. So I have this, and I can keep it and save it, or I can print it out if I want to. Google Forms are nice because you can set it to have them send you an email when someone sends you one, so you know that it's there and waiting for you to read. Because we don't always remember to check things, so I love that they have that kind of stuff on there too. Does anybody else use Google Forms? Anybody else used them for something different?
Virtual opportunity event
Okay.
interest form, basically.
Yeah, so basically kind of a door prize type of a slip. So so Google Forms can be very useful. Home Office sends us a lot of things in Google Forms too. So that's another app you can use. Then let's go Google Classroom. Now this one is kind of crazy. I haven't used it a ton yet, but we're starting to see the potential of it. No, I thought it was in. Okay, here we go. So we did like a boost your business thing. So you can see, like, I assigned them their assignment in Google Classroom, gave them the video that they needed to watch and all the links there, instead of eating up our Facebook page or having to make another group. you know, sometimes you get kind of sick of having groups all the time to work with things. So instead you could use your Google Classroom, put them all into a class, just like you would be like, it's, you know, obviously it's for teachers, but you can use it, any person with a Google email will have access to Google Classroom. And so we used it for them to watch the videos, and then they had assignments, and they, you know, if they turned in their assignments or not, then they could post it there. So we've only used it a couple of times, it's just we have to kind of get a better grasp on it, but I think it could be very, very useful when it's all said and done, because you can just load it, just like a teacher would load assignments for students, you know, in their classroom. So you could load, you know, like, not a get them where you're looking for what's the trend, like 6 Weeks to Success, or even like Rockstars on the
Right,
Rise. You could
Rockstars
probably
could
use
be
it
there.
for Rockstars on the Rise, like a Director Bound program. You could use it for that. So that has, I'm just starting to touch on that, but I think it has a lot of potential for use within our businesses. Okay, so Google Classroom, that one was. And then Google Keep. This is probably one of the most fun ones that I've found. So Google Keep, it also attaches to your Google Calendar. So when you bring up your Google Calendar on your computer, as a matter of fact, like, let me show you quick. So if I bring up my Google Calendar, just so you guys can see what I mean. Tasks comes right up over here, loading tasks, and it comes up with,
You're blocking.
oh, I'm sorry. Tasks comes up right there, and it's got the Google Keep there, and so I could click on my Google Keep right from here, and it would load the things I have in here. So, hold on, let me get back out of it again here. We got like, why is it not going now? There we go, Google Keep. Okay. So this is just kind of an example. I just kind of screenshotted this from my phone. So things I keep in Google Keep, it's like a little bit more, it's kind of like notes on your iPhone, but it's more secure. Like, I put a note in my iPhone and my daughter's gotten in there and somehow then has deleted my whole list that I needed for the grocery store. This, you can't really delete it until you go in and actually delete it. So I like, it's like a little bit more secure than just notes are. So I keep things on here like my lead lists and my booking lists and stuff that I can just have quick access instead of having it in a notebook in my house. It's at my fingertips anytime. So like my lead lists on there. I have like pictures that I want saved. Like I have a picture that I always send out for my cooking shows the night before the party. Telling them that we're going to use Express Party Checkout at their show, so they need to bring their fully charged cell phone, and they're going to use our award-winning checkout at the show. So they're already prepared and know it that they're going to be using Express Party Checkout. So that's just one of the things I keep it, because I send that picture out lots of times a month. And I have my host dashboard info picture that I give to all my hosts when they're getting ready to close their show. This is how you log into your host dashboard, and this is how you use it. So things that I use frequently, I'll leave in here. And then you can keep shopping lists and, I mean, all sorts of kinds of lists, but you can also share them with people too. Like my daughter had to make a list this morning. She decided not to go to my mom's last night, so my mom was picking her up this morning when she woke up because she's done with school. She's like, well, what do I need to pack? So I made her a list quick in Google Keep, and then I shared it with her. Boom, so her list was done. So it's just easy. If I want to, I can collaborate on a grocery shopping list with my kids and have them add things that they want from the store. I can share it with them and do that way. So Google Keep is one I think that you will find and like a lot, but it'll come up in your calendar just like the tasks one too. So those are just a couple I'm trying to think. Can't easily be deleted. Oh, you can also color code. So like green things can be for your business. You could have yellow for your family. You could have blue for if you have another job. You can color code your different lists and everything within Google Keep. Okay. Oops. Google Slides. So I'm obviously using Google Slides today. It's basically PowerPoint from Microsoft. I like it better. I think it's way easier to use in PowerPoint than PowerPoint, and I think it's way simpler to like edit. and pull and drag pictures into. So I'm one of those people that's like, oh, I wish home office would quit sending us PowerPoints, because I you know, or I don't know, I'm not gonna say make them do both, but I can take a lot of the stuff that they do though, and I can put it into a slide though very easily. So it's just it's a lot more easy and editable, and I think once you just get used to the whole Google system as a whole, it's just easier. So so I personally really like Google Slides. I think that was my last one. Yeah. Yep, that was my last one. So I'm sure that was a lot of info. You're like, oh my god.
Calendars too, you
Yep.
color
I have a
code
question.
too.
Pardon me? Calendars. Yes, you can color code your calendars within. Like you can have multiple group. Like you have different emails, or you want to share your emails with people. Yes, in your calendar. Yes.
Are you paying for more storage space in Google Docs then?
No,
Because
I have not.
oh, I'm so close to tapping out what's available on mine already.
No,
I've been using it for like 5 years, but
I have not. But
there were some. I deleted all those out of there because I was like, that's too much space.
I have not gotten to that point. I don't even think I've even barely made. I was trying to.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find it in my drive.
I just wondered.
While Kelly's looking up her drive,
much
yeah,
Yeah, look at my.